more Jeff
We
Zekin.
do.
I'm Don Armstrong, so thank you very much for joining us on this Saturday morning. How's everybody this morning?
Good.
Mr. Mars, you panicky down there?
Nah, man, we're smoking here.
All right.
You're such a
You got
liar.
everything turned on?
No, we're cooking. Cooking with gas.
Aren't you glad that I suggested that?
Yeah.
Your little
I tell my
gizmos on?
wife one of these days I'm going to take this computer's going to commit suicide, but not today.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And welcome to Candace Thackeray and all those friends of ours from
All the
around the
ships at
globe
sea.
and all the ships at sea. We're glad that you could join us today. How's your week been?
It's been great. It's been very busy.
It's always busy for you. It's amazing to me. The man lives in Neaterville, Texas, and you would think that what a laid-back little community, cute, nice house, green lawn in the front. How could it be busy? This makes it busy.
Well, this makes it busy. Got a little something to do here every day, and then got a couple of houses. Mom's house, got to help take care of that. My house, got to take care of that.
You got
Cars, got grandkids,
stuff in the
granddaughters
water.
calling. Hey, my car's making a noise.
You got the beach house.
Yeah, the beach house too. Yeah.
Has it finally settled down there at the beach house?
Oh man, it's last weekend. Memorial weekend. It was great. It
Good.
was crowded. Grandkids went down. They couldn't get on the beach. I mean, it was so many people parked on the beach, but there wasn't no trouble.
So if you're wondering
nothing.
about that, that is the home of the Jeep Go Topless weekend that apparently everybody kept their tops on this year because they were all in jail.
Well, it's not the topless that your mind automatically goes to.
No, your
It's
mind goes to that.
removing the
I'm
tops of the
thinking
Jeep.
about- yes, of course.
See, Mike wasn't. I had to explain that. to him.
Okay, good. And how about you, Jeffrey?
I was busy. A lot of orders. Got a good customers. A lot of repeat stuff going on.
Good.
So it's
Jeff
just
works for a
dandy.
company called Bull Shirts. If you're into any kind of monogram shirts or anything like that,
All
call
kinds
Jeff.
of stuff. You bet.
Yeah.
Jeff
It was,
at inwheeltime.com.
I told Bill
You're
was
wearing
asking
one,
about
aren't you?
that. No, this
That's the
is
old one.
No, this is the old one.
Yeah, 'cause
I told Bill when I was talking to him about their event up there in Bastrop, I was telling him
Yeah.
that you worked for there.
We've got companies that have consignment of shirts. We did a bunch of stuff for a Corvette club about 10 days ago. There was black shirts with the Corvette logo. There's stacks of them, and they were just kicking them out, sending them
Yeah.
out to wherever.
Were they embroidered?
No, they were a silk screen, but they were black T-shirts, but they were nice. And it's like a.
Do they hold in old man guts?
No, that's a different shirt.
That's
the one that's cut off on the top.
Oh, that one, yeah. I think that, what did they used to call that? That was called a midriff or
Bikini top.
bikini top.
Bikini top.
Okay, for the boys.
There you go.
Well, enough of this silliness. Well, it's not too silly because I know that there's our next guest, Zach Dole, can appreciate all of this talk.
Right.
Zach Dole with U.S. News and World Report, 2025 Best Cars for Teens. Zach, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
I see that you're not wearing your bikini top this morning. You're not quite ready for summer yet.
I thought I'd slip into something a bit more
Professional.
professional.
Well, we're glad. We're all glad for that, for all of us, that we don't expose you to anything you don't want to see. And I don't. Where are you located currently?
Central Virginia.
Okay.
Oh, very nice.
Well, is the weather up there nice today?
Yeah, we had some tornadoes last night, but it's a beautiful day right now. And
Good. Glad to hear it. So, are you the one that put together this report for U.S. News and World Report?
I'm not on the research team, but I'm on the press side of it. So I'm representing the report, and we're really pleased with it. We think it's the best one we've had yet.
Well, I thought I was looking over it. You sent us a presser, as you will, beforehand. And I was really surprised, maybe not so much for everybody else, but it looks as though that Hyundai won the award across the board.
They've certainly done very, very well. I think, a lot of it has to do with the value proposition. The Hyundai vehicles now are just really packed with safety features, and it's a great benefit to shoppers because you can choose a base model and still end up with a ton of standard safety features.
Well, I saw a report, I don't remember where, but I saw it this week, about the company, Hyundai Kia, and they are really kicking everybody's tail quality cars that appeal to a lot of people, and they sell a lot of cars, and apparently they last a while. I mean, what else could you
Apparently
want?
they do.
Yeah, what else could you want? Well, I don't know where you want to start because as I previewed this show this morning, I said, this is cars for teens, and we're at that point of the year where we've got the graduates. Maybe you're thinking about a car for the summer, a car to learn in, a car to go off to college this fall. How did you break down the cars and the best of the best?
So we kind of we created this to help parents and teens make a good informed first car purchase. So we keyed in on three things. We have safety, affordability, and reliability, which you just highlighted regarding Hyundais. So to be even considered for an award, these have to rate highly for crash test safety. They have to have advanced safety features like automatic emergency braking, forward collision warning. They have to have a good predicted reliability rating from J.D. Power. And they also have to be affordably priced. So all of our vehicles are in the $20,000 to $40,000 range starting, with many on the much lower end of that.
Now, are these new cars?
Yes, we have 8 new vehicles we want to highlight and 4 used.
Okay.
And in the new category for SUVs, we've got the Kia Soul, the Hyundai Tucson, the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid, and the Subaru Forester. And in the car category, the Toyota Corolla Hybrid, the Hyundai Elantra, the Honda Civic Hybrid, and the Toyota Camry.
And you mentioned the factors that led you to this decision. How old are these cars in the used car field?
So these are all 2025 models.
Wow.
If I could key in on a couple really important ones here, I'd say the Kia Soul starts at $20,000. I mean, you really don't find new vehicles for less than that nowadays. I mean, it's a really good value, a lot of standard safety features, great safety scores. For $20,000, I mean, I think that's a really great bet. Same for the Corolla Hybrid, around $24,000 starting. The Elantra, $22,000. These are really value packed. And I know you're going to ask the question because you mentioned it last year about, I'd get my child, $1,000, $2,000 Craigslist, it's a great, affordable vehicle to start in. And, that's true. My first car was like $500.
Did you buy it?
These vehicles have so many safety features now.
Did you buy Zach? Did you buy your first car, or did your parents?
It was my dad bought a new car, and I got the old one,
the hand-me-down,
because the dealer didn't want to take it as trade.
You mentioned the cars between the Kia Soul, $20,000 up to $24,000 for the hybrid. These are just basic features of safety. You're not going to get a sunroof. You're not going to get the leather interior. You're not going to get the fancy interior packages. These are just basic models, right?
Yeah, and but basic has changed. So, like you said, you're not going to get the leather, but you're going to get things like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which I think are fantastic features for younger drivers because it keeps that attention up and down instead of down at a phone. You're going to have automatic emergency braking. 15 years ago, you may have found that on like a S-Class, and now it's on a $20,000 Kia Soul. So I think as far as a value proposition, these are really, really heavy value vehicles.
And those are new ones. Yeah, those are new ones.
Yeah,
and I will tell you, the last time I drove a Soul, which was a couple of years ago, I've always been impressed with the Kia Soul. Why specifically? I think overall, it's a good value. It rides nice. It's not some dragster at all. It gets really good gas mileage, but it's got enough power to get yourself on the freeway safely without thinking, oh, dear God, here comes an 18-wheeler at 60. I don't know if I can get it up there in the next five miles. But I think that it really is something for every parent to look at as a Kia Soul. Plus, the other really bonus that you get with a new car is you get a warranty. Whereas you get a hand-me-down like you had or that I had, no. Warranty, what's that? We didn't even know.
Yeah, and this wasn't part of our scoring or ranking at all, but you know, with the rates nowadays on financing, getting a new car and being able to maybe secure a 0% or 2% or 1% or something like that. That's also a huge benefit because if you're going used and maybe financing that or having to pay cash, you're looking at like 5, 6, 7%. So you do spend a little bit more up front, but that new car financing is really nice, especially if you're trying to save money in the long run.
Well, let's go down the list here for just a second and talk about some of the other new ones. You had Toyota Camry, best car for teens, $35,000 to $40,000. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I don't know many parents that have that kind of cash to plunk out for a car that is going to get wrecked at one point or another.
Fairly quick.
I would like to, keep my selections down there at the Elantra, the Tucson, the Corolla Hybrid, which was kind of a surprise for me because this is a hybrid technology. And I will say that Toyota, to me, has a leg up on all the competition because of the Prius, and that was the first hybrid that we all knew of.
100%. Yeah, I think having driven both the normal Corolla and the Corolla Hybrid, I think the hybrid is so much more enjoyable to drive, just a little bit quicker, way more efficient. And, some of these vehicles like the Camry, these are vehicles that a parent could share with a teen and not feel like they're stepping into, like a kid's car. That's if that was to be like I'll drive it to work, you drive it to soccer practice type of thing. That's a great value if you were to share that vehicle. It's a fantastic car.
Let's go down the list here because their time is of the essence, as they say. A 2021 Subaru Legacy. Any of the mid-size cars, you say?
Yeah, so in the used category, we've got the Legacy, the Tucson Hybrid, the Elantra Hybrid, and the Santa Fe Hybrid. And those are vehicles that, might be coming off lease, a little bit more affordable, but you still get a lot of those safety features and great safety scores that the brand new vehicles are offering. So you can probably knock about $10,000, $15,000 off the asking price for those vehicles, and you're still going to get a fantastic almost new vehicle.
Well, and that's the point that I was going to make is the fact that, okay, so it's got 35,000 miles on it. The car is 3 years old. I've got $20,000 to spend, but if you're going to go for a new one, you're going to pay probably $15,000 more for the new one than you will for the 35,000 mile car used. And I encourage people to really pay attention to the cars that are in the category of lost my train of thought. The sold car, the car
pre-owned.
Sorry,
pre-owned.
Certified pre-owned is what I'm trying to look for here. The certified pre-owned. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Certified pre-owns, because you're going to pay a little bit more for those, but they have a service record on them, and the dealership is taking care of them. So chances are they're not going to sell you a dud.
Exactly, and I think my take is that this is a great jumping off point. This list is a good jumping off point. You can go with any of these vehicles, and I think you'll have something really solid and a great option for a driver who's kind of getting up to speed and learning. But no matter what you get, it's important to just get behind the wheel of things and just see what feels comfortable. You may find a Tucson has blind spots that something like the Corolla Hybrid doesn't. And it's just important to get behind the wheel, get familiar, and just see what feels right.
And the other thing, too, is it really kind of depends on the part of the country that you live in that's going to determine the price, the resale value, if it's going to be a used car, what kind of a deal you can get on it. Where are you going to buy it? Are you going to buy it from a dealer as a certified pre-owned? Or are you going to go to a used car lot? And, hey, there are some used car lots in town that really are very well aware of the competition at the dealership with the certified pre-owned, and you might be able to get a better deal. We have a used car dealer down in Friendswood, close to us here in Texas, that top of the line, top notch. How many miles do you want on it? They've got all the whole range. You want something with 100,000 miles on it, or you want something with 25,000 miles on it. They've got the selection that a dealership generally doesn't have because they don't have room for the inventory.
Yeah, they can pick and choose when they do take them in.
Yeah. So I think that those are some of the factors that need to be considered too when you're going out and buying a car for a teen. I know for my teen, who's no longer a teen, every fender on that Ford Focus has been mashed. It's probably got 1,000 pounds of Bondo on it underneath the paint. But hey, she still has it. She graduated from college in 2011. So it's like, really? Yeah, it's still running, and it's got over 100, close to 200,000 miles on it.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's, I think sometimes when you buy it right, it just keeps going, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. This teenager's car becomes a young adult's car, and so we're hoping that some of these vehicles can take kids on a similar journey like that.
Yeah,
perfect.
So where can we go? Is the information free at your website?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have reviews of all of these vehicles at cars.usnews.com. This is a great jumping off point. Take a look, research all the vehicles, and there's a lot of great options for teens for sure.
Cars.usnews.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
cars.usnews.com. Very good. Well, Zach, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Sorry for my brain.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Saturday.
Well, you
Okay.
do the same. Do you have any more interviews lined up?
Got a couple.
Okay.
Not any today, but a couple tomorrow and Monday.
All right. Well,
Stay safe in that weather.
yeah, exactly. No tornadoes for you. We'll talk to you later, Zach. Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Always fun.
Well, it is, and it's always interesting.
Yeah, it's informative for the folks that are actually.
Who would to think that on this list there are 1, 2, 3,
It's like 15 of them, aren't
4,
there?
5, 6. Out of all these cars, new and used, there's 6 Hyundais on here. I would have never guessed that.
No, I wouldn't have thought that would be the case.
So it's like half the list, more than half the list.
Pretty much. Just ahead, Jeff's Car Culture, and Mars has a new feature, Driving Destinations.
Port A. Hey.
God.
Hey.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk
Going to
Show
Canada.
may continue after this break.
Hey.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show thanks you for 14 wonderful years. Yep, our first show aired May 7th, 2011 on a local radio station. Then it was a move to the digital world and social media, and you followed. Thank you. We continue to build and grow our fan base, and it's all because of you and your auto enthusiast friends. We appreciate your support. It's always great to see you at our remote broadcasts, and we hope you'll continue to stop by and say hello. It's been a great ride, and we hope to bring you more fun and adventure right here on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Hey, In-Wheel Time hits the road again. Our next stop is in Granbury, Texas for the Lone Star Street Rod Association's State Run. We invite you to join our live broadcast on June 14th, 2 weeks from today. We'll be on the air from 9 to noon that day. We're going to give you a bonus hour, and we thank you for being with us today. And time now for Jeff's Car Culture.
You bet. This is going to be informative for you. We all, you see ambulances going down the road. People sometimes
You ever been in the
don't-
back of an ambulance?
No. Sometimes they don't get out of the way, and it's very frustrating, and it kind of ticks me off that somebody's in there for a reason. So ambulances are made all over the world. with different countries, different regions having their own manufacturing, their own specifications. Typically, ambulances are made in 2 stages. The first manufacturer takes the chassis, the second modifies the vehicle to include the necessary emergency equipment. In the United States, ambulances are classified into 4 types, each with different specifications and purposes. Several companies manufacture ambulances in the U.S., including American Emergency Vehicles, Braun Industries, and Horton Ambulance, among others. Those are the primary ones in the U.S. There's several across the world. These companies play a crucial role in providing emergency medical services with the necessary vehicle, ensuring that the patients receive prompt and effective care during their medical emergency. The customization options offered by these manufacturers enable the EMS providers to design ambulances that meet their unique needs and their budgets. The first stage of manufacturing involves the initial construction of the chassis, which forms the foundational structure of the ambulance. This stage typically entails the fabrication of a light or medium-duty truck chassis, cabs, or full-size van. Reputable automobile companies such as Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Ford, Toyota are often chosen for this purpose in providing the reliable base for the subsequent modifications. The second stage of manufacturing involves modifying the chosen vehicle meet the specification requirements of an ambulance. This stage is carried out by a second manufacturer known as the second stage manufacturer. Go figure, Mike. They take the incomplete vehicle lacking a body or interior behind the driver's seat and transform it into a full-fledged ambulance. This process can be done through 2 methods, coach building or modular system integration. In the U.S., there are 4 types. Type 1 ambulances are mounted on a truck chassis with a custom module on the back. They're used primarily for advanced life support and rescue work. They're available in 4-wheel drive and are a good choice for difficult driving conditions.
Oh, my God. There's Danny's Dodge van that
There
we
you
all
go.
used to go around in. Yeah.
Danny, I love him. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Type 2 ambulances
Smoked
are
a lot of
typically,
pot.
not in that van, typically van-style vehicles with basic patient care features. They're used for hospital-to-hospital transport and can also be used in a 911 rescue work. They offer better gas mileage than the other types of ambulances, specifically diesel. These Type 3 are built using a van chassis with the roof raised. Who hasn't raised a roof in a van? Come on. Type 3 ambulances are similar to Type 1, but use a van cutaway chassis instead of a truck chassis.
Look at that one right there. That's a short bus, any way you look at
There
it.
you go. The cab and body are integrated with a larger opening between the cab and module, allowing for easier movement in items and the personnel. These ambulances are available in 2-wheel drive using regular gasoline. Now, the 4th version, or the Type 4 they're talking about, is for patient transfers as smaller vehicles, for smaller environments, small crowds, and things of like that nature. But that's a Pontiac right there on the screen. And my favorite is this last one. Check this out. That's a Buick, baby.
That's a Buick.
Now, for all intents and purposes, be cautious around ambulances. Get out of the way when you see them coming. Leave your blood donation at the Red Cross and not on the highway.
Very nice. Well, I have to tell you that back in my day, it was things like the Buick, the Pontiac, any kind of a station
Cadillac.
wagon.
Yeah, you
and,
bet.
You know, the guy, the actual medic that's back there, of course, the patient's laying down. The medic's all hunched over because the roof is so low.
Yep, exactly. But be careful when you're out there, and a little bit of information if you ever wonder, and just check it out.
Driving destinations, Mr. Mars. This is the 2nd week, and now we're going to go way down the coast of Port Aransas.
Hey, it's near Canada,
Hey. So I thought summertime, it's beginning of summertime, the kids are out of school, everybody wants to talk about going to the beach. Sometimes you don't want to go to a big town like Galveston or Corpus Christi, but you don't want to go to a little town like Surfside or something, so you might want to look at something like Port Aransas. Now, this is located on the Gulf of America.
Now, let me ask you something. Pardon me for interrupting, but did you name it Port A, or is that their marketing thing?
That's their marketing thing.
It is Port A.
Yeah.
Port Armstrong.
No,
Could be.
It's been like that for a long time. And the first time I went down there, I picked up an assignment for a magazine to go down there to get some boats of marlin fishing. And I didn't know you could do marlin fishing out of Port A.
I didn't know there were marlin in the Gulf of America.
Well, they're not big like you see in Mexico on TV and stuff, but they have them and they use them.
They're mini marlin.
Mini marlins. So anyway, first thing you're going to notice, or you're going to think about, of course, is the Port Aransas Beach. It's located actually on Mustang Island. It's 18 miles long.
Had no
It is
clue.
a drivable beach. It's another beach that you can actually drive your car on. You can rent golf carts. You can do
Beach stuff.
beach stuff. Yeah, they actually have a sand castle building contest on that beach down there because the way the sand is with the water and the moisture content is really good for building sand castles and doing things like that.
Building a snow fort.
That's right. So the other thing, if you're not really into the sand stuff and you're a birding person, you want to go to the Leonabelle Turnbell Birding Center in Port Aransas. This is a big location. It's on the Central Flyway, so you get to see a lot of different birds, including the rosette spoonbill, the black-bellied whistle duck, and the cinnamon teal.
Hey, you know what? Do you know what kind of bird this is?
You just shot the bird.
I've seen that bird before.
Yeah. In the back of a car.
Yeah, and they got like a 1,250 foot long boardwalk.
Oh, boy.
That you can see alligators along with other different wildlife.
Nice.
Now you can also go to Fisherman's Wharf. Now this is of course a place where they have a lot of boats that go out deep sea fishing. This is where I was talking about. I was surprised that you could actually go out marlin fishing, not the big ones, but there is plenty of marlin, and you don't have to go out very far because of the continental shelf. Deep water is a lot closer here. Then you can go to the Port Aransas Museum in the middle of the day when it gets good and hot. And this is housed in a 1900s kit house.
Wow.
Now, it's got lots
Is
of
that
history.
the kit from Sears?
It didn't say which
Not
year it was from.
1900.
Yeah. But, it's got a lot of history about maritime history, sport fishing, local culture. And they actually have a fourth order Fresnel lens from the Lydia Ann Lighthouse. That's a pretty big deal about it being that kind of from original lighthouses. Now, if you really want to go do something out in the outside, you can go kayaking and paddleboarding. You can launch from the Lighthouse Lakes Paddling Trail. Now, this is Texas' first designated paddling trail. You can also go walking around and do this thing, but it's about 6.8 miles that you can cover in this area. And they also have a windsurfing contest down here. Then you can also go over to Mustang Island State Park. And 3,950 acres, 5 miles of coastline. Really a nice place to go. I went there once to shoot some pictures of a truck, and it was a beautiful place. Then for playtime for the little ones, Roberts Point Park. Now, this is in Port Aransas area, 50-acre waterfront park, and it's got playgrounds, it's got fountains, it's got all kinds of things that little kids can do. So this is a really place if you want to go out and get out, and you want about, and you want to be in a town smaller than Galveston
Corpus.
or Corpus, then this could be a good choice
Because
for
it's
you.
right across the way from Corpus.
Yeah, it's about 30 miles.
And you go over to the island through Aransas Pass. I
There's
didn't
a
know-
causeway.
I didn't know any of
And
that.
then the other end of it, coming in from Houston, which is about 3.5, 4 hours away, there's a ferry. You get to ride the little. It's smaller than the Galveston ferry. It's only about 20 cars.
Nice. Well, that's an interesting
It
thing.
fits.
Yeah, it's a
back
good-
in the day, that's what we did. We didn't have a whole lot of money, and we wanted to take the kids somewhere. We always went to San Antonio. It was a great place
Yep.
for us to take the kids. Here's an option, a beach option that's 3.5 hours away. Easy drive.
Easy drive.
A nice coastal drive, too.
Hey, the End Wheel Time Car Talk Show will continue after these brief messages.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us.
From the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we got a new feature, our story of the week, and in it today, the end of the manual transmission, along with guess the sold car price and recalls. All that coming up. Jeff has the cruise-in calendars, and I'll bring you the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. David Ainsley's resting up for a big trip up to Granbury. That's coming up in a couple of weeks.
She's sleeping. Don't wake him.
Who, Mars or
No,
David?
David.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't hear him down there at the end. So we're going to start a new little feature here called Story of the Week. And I came up with this week, and I thought it was an interesting deal from Automotive News. Consumer indifference and U.S. tariffs have conspired to kill America's last 5-speed manual transmission Econobox. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know that they still offered them anymore anywhere. Nissan Motor has halted production in Mexico of manual transmission Versas for the U.S. market, according to a person with knowledge of the matter. They told Automotive News. Nissan spokesperson said the automaker plans to focus on the most popular Versa trims that deliver the strongest business performance. The Versa is one of 3 U.S. market nameplates Nissan assembles in Agua Calientes, Mexico. The vehicles combined to account for nearly a third of the brand's U.S. volume last year. I did not know that either. Nope. On May 13th, Nissan projected that Donald Trump's tariffs could cost the company about $3.1 billion in the fiscal year ending next March. But the economics of producing the manual Versa were unfavorable even before geopolitics pushed its cost up 25%. Fewer than 5% of the 42,589 Versa hatchbacks Nissan sold in the U.S. last year had manual transmissions. One Nissan retailer in the Northeast reported selling 4 or 5 manual Versas in 2024.
Wow.
Sam Fiorani, Vice President at Auto Forecast Solutions, said limited demand for a manual transmission makes it impractical for Nissan, adding production complexity and increasing regulatory costs. The return on investment and a stick shift for an entry-level model is quickly disappearing for manufacturers. Nissan also gets dinged on its fleet emissions for every manual Versa sold. That's because the stick shift Versa has a combined fuel economy of up to 30 miles per gallon compared to up to 35 miles per gallon for its automatic transmission counterpart. Nissan's expected to retire the Versa nameplate in the U.S. next year. So it's not surprising. And I had this discussion with a couple of guys that I work with that are into cars. And the efficiency of the new automatic transmissions is truly incredible. Remember, we had the Slush-O-Matic back in the 60s?
Right.
The 2-speed Slush-O-Matic. I had one in the Corvair. 2 speeds. And then we went to 3 speeds. Ooh, breakthrough.
Hold me back.
Yeah, hold me back. And then 4-speed automatics. And as time progressed, the transmissions got more and more efficient. Hell, you could do burnouts in Mom's Impala in the 1970s if you really want.
You did, didn't you?
She didn't have an Impala, but she did have a Buick Skylark.
And you did burnouts in it.
Oh, yeah, big time. That right rear tire almost caught fire. But
So did
think
his
of the-
hide when she found out.
Exactly.
There's a reason that Corvette did not do anything to make the C8 Corvette manual transmission available. It makes no sense. That transmission in that C8 Corvette can shift a lot faster than you can. Mm-hmm. It's much more efficient as far as fuel mileage is concerned. It is spot on when it comes to being competitive on a racetrack. You can put it in the manual mode, and man, those paddle shifters work just great, just like an Indy car or a Formula One car.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw a Formula One or Indy car have the guy shifting the gears over there on the right-hand side?
No,
of the cockpit?
I don't even think they put it in there anymore.
Well, they don't.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
available anymore.
But they do have hybrid versions and all that other technology
even-
on the other side's coming in.
And that's the latest thing,
Yeah.
the hybrids. So how are you going to marry a hybrid with a manual transmission? I don't know. I guess you can.
I guess you can, because you still got to have an output coming out of the engine. But then that same question comes up with the rest of the technology. I mean, how do you marry it with the cruise controls and the start-stop? Well, they're doing away with the start-stop on the engine. But some of the other safety features that are tied into that transmission and how the transmission can react automatically.
Well, first of all, you have to design the car to be able to have an automatic or a manual. They all used to be manuals. Well, that's a no-brainer there. It's
Right.
easy to design a car with one, basically a powertrain in it. But to be able to design a car that not only has an automatic transmission, but now you're going to send the same body down the same assembly line with a manual transmission. Chances are you're going to have to change the motor mounts in it, because now it's going to have to accommodate a clutch assembly back there as opposed to an automatic transmission.
Yeah,
the cross member,
the tunnel.
the tunnel.
the size of the tunnel as the automatics get
Well,
bigger.
Is it rear-wheel drive? Is it front-wheel drive?
With respect to the Corvette, the transmission's in the back anyways. And now yours is a 6-speed.
It is.
And I've in the past I've heard you say that sometimes it's as a person gets older, they don't want to use that as a manual. Now you talked about the C8. A lot of the older guys are buying the C8, so why would they want a manual transmission in it? The young guys are the ones that want the manual. How many young guys are buying a C8 Corvette? You don't see the percentage is the older generation, not the younger generation, in my opinion. So I'm an older guy. If somebody said, you're going to get a C8 Corvette, I would want an automatic.
I bought that Corvette of mine with the 6-speed manual transmission. It's a 2001, in case you haven't heard. 2001, I bought it from Greg Enders. Had 16,000 miles on it. Of course, I've had to put a clutch in it since then because, thank you, Greg, for burning up the clutch and me
Yeah,
not
but you
knowing
had it for how long, and you finally put a clutch in it?
Yeah, I've had it since 2017.
It's not like an ongoing reoccurrence.
yeah, but
throw a
how
clutch in it.
old is the car? How long was the other clutch in it?
Yeah.
Well, it was
From
an
01.
original. It was an original.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
so
But it only had 16,000 miles on it.
well, but that's like saying, my dad would say, my tires only got 10,000 miles. Dad, that tire's 10 years old. It's dry rotting. It's leaking air.
Yeah, well,
but
Greg-
it's only got 10,000 miles on
Well,
it.
16,000 miles are a quarter at a time.
Well, the point that I was trying to make is more along the lines of the style of transmission that was in the car. I bought the car because it had a manual transmission, because that's what I grew up. All of my cars had manual transmissions. I don't think I ever bought a new car with an automatic transmission, ever. And so this will be the last manual transmission that I will buy, because the new transmissions are so more efficient and easier on my left knee.
Well, see, and that's the point I was trying to make. Older generations, because we wear out quicker than the car will.
Yeah. Well,
So your left foot on that clutch pedal, and you can adjust it. Is it a hard compression? How many pounds of what's PSI to put it engage or disengage?
Yeah. You can
versus the
kind of
paddles.
regulate that.
Yeah.
by
well,
what
yeah.
kind of clutch
Remember,
you put in.
I put an extra spring on mine
Yeah.
to make sure that it was disengaging all the way, because I had an issue with that early on,
And
too.
we took it over to my place and put a Hurst shifter in it.
And put a Hurst shifter in it. And those are dollars that I look back at them going, did I really need to do that? Yeah, it's a shorter shifter throw. Yeah, I guess with my ego, Hurst, but now they've got shifters made by everybody and anybody, all different sizes and styles, and they have quick shifts on them, so they're very short shift. I questioned some of the money that I've spent on the car. The seats were a good investment, but if I had to do it all over again, I think I'd find somebody that was much more knowledgeable than us trying to fix that sports seat that was in there that was drawing down the electricity. Spent the money on a computer control for the seat, that sort of thing. But back to the manual transmission. What a pain. Imagine going down the assembly line. Okay, now we're putting in the drivetrain. chances are the body's not with it yet because it's going down there, getting ready for the body to join the rest of it. Okay, now we're going to have to rethink the way that we mount the body because the manual transmission is in the chassis differently for whatever the chassis was.
Well, you would think that if they're running them down the line, you're not going to have an automatic and 2 manuals and then 6 automatics and 1 more manual. I think they would run them together as a
yes.
group.
Yeah.
All right, we've got 10. We're going to build 10 manuals this week. Today. Let's put them all in line and build all those and then get them out. That's the way I would do it. That would be the efficient way to do it.
Well, that's typically, I think, that the way that the manufacturers work it, that they don't, build them hobnob here and there.
Well, back in the day, in the 70s, when I was with Cadillac, they ran everything down the line.
Everything.
You had to look at what you're putting on.
Right. But they all had basically the same engine, the same drivetrain,
And
maybe
we-
a bigger motor or something, but the mounting points were the same.
And Fisher Body only built it from the firewall back. We built the interior. We built the luxury part of it. There was a car coming down the line that didn't have a chassis. It was just a body, and that's what you assembled. Now, the fenders, the front clip was already over at Cadillac because they painted the car in 2 different areas. We would paint and
Seriously?
They paint the. Well, I believe so. Let me backtrack. They might have sent the fenders over, but I think the fenders were painted at Cadillac. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. But we only did it from the firewall back, from the firewall to the taillights. All the interior would be complete. They would put them on a car carrier, 7 at a time, and ship them 2 miles down to the Cadillac plant. They would unload them, and then they would finish. They would marry them to the.
That is so funny. Well, today they generally don't do it that way.
No. But so obviously they didn't put manuals in them, but.
Well, the Corolla factory that I went to not that many years ago in Mississippi, still there, still making Corollas, they had their own stamping plant, which is unusual for the most part in most manufacturers. They do the stamping off-site and then send the fenders and the body components to the assembly line. But here, the stamping was in the back, and they stamped the whole side of the car. Not the fenders, but the actual body part of it with the doors, and they stamped it all at the same time and cut the doors out of the stamping.
And took the doors away and.
Yeah, the doors went one way, the rest of the surround went elsewhere. The way that cars are manufactured, trucks too, are so different than they were not that many years ago. Much more efficient. They don't have near as many people on the assembly line as standing there screwing the cars together. And that the whole car moves down the assembly line as it's being built. And the guy rides the car for however long that the platform that the car is mounted to, rides it for dozens of feet, and then once he gets his job done, then goes back and picks up the next car on the line.
I did every third job. Every third car that went by was mine. And all I did this is when they had, when you would press the brake, you could see in the front on the fender there would be little lights that if you knew your brake lights were on, it would be a little red dot would come on. It would be up on the top of the dash. I installed those in all of my cars because all it is fiber optic and you just need a little plate. But when you push the trunk mechanism and the trunk automatically popped,
right?
You open the glove box, you push the button and close your trunk. There was a cover. It was called the striker cover, and it was probably about as big as your box right there.
Yes.
And it was covered with carpet or whatever interior color it was, and I would put 3 screws in it. Zip, 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 and I would go sit down and wait for this 1, 2. Oh, this one's mine. Zip, 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 and I'd go sit down.
Did you have a rack full of these pieces?
No, you just pick them up out of a bin.
That's what I said.
It wasn't a rack coming. They would come and drop a bin off, and you just pick it up.
Well, the part that I could get the closest to the assembly line, they were installing taillights. And here was this huge rack, like a baker's rack, that you would have at a bakery or in the back of a truck. And here are all the lights. And they get down to like the last 2, and here comes the little mini motor hauling another rack. He'd pull the empty rack out, put the new rack in, right on time.
Yeah.
You're thinking, they're going to run out. They're going to run out. Nope, they got it all timed
Just
out.
in time, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But, manuals are manuals, and it's going to help the valets out by not building any more.
Yeah. And
Well, it helps them out because most of them don't know. I can remember this is years ago, but I remember whenever we had a new guy that came to work in our crew, and they hired him. The phone company hired him, but he didn't know how to drive a manual transmission. Nobody thought to check and see if he did. So he showed up for work. He's hired. Well, then we had to teach him how to drive a manual transmission in our trucks because all our trucks were still manual.
Why not?
I learned how to drive on my brother-in-law Jerry's Capri. He left it with us to watch while they went on their honeymoon, and I drove it. Wasn't supposed to, but I learned how to drive it. Don't tell anybody.
Well, we taught all of ours how to drive a manual transmission car whenever we had one available. I don't have one in the family anymore.
Yeah. I still do. Katie's car.
Yeah. Well, yours.
Well, and yours.
And
Yeah.
trying to get the Focus back down here. I'm supposed to do that late summer.
Oh, let's tub it out.
No, let's do that. We'll have to.
V8 it.
We're going
Katie,
to
you're
have
going to tub out your car.
We're going to have to chisel through
Bring
the
it over to
body,
my
the
house.
body filler on the side of it.
tear
That's
it
our
up.
story of the week, the end of the manual
Tear it up.
transmission. Coming up, Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and I'll have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Stay with us on the award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We continue right after this quick break.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show thanks you for 14 wonderful years. Yep, our first show aired May 7th, 2011 on a local radio station. Then it was a move to the digital world and social media, and you followed. Thank you. We continue to build and grow our fan base, and it's all because of you and your auto enthusiast friends. We appreciate your support. It's always great to see you at our remote broadcasts, and we hope you'll continue to stop by and say hello. It's been a great ride, and we hope to bring you more fun and adventure right here on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
Okay. Don't forget, Lone Star Street Rod Association Straight Run, a state run, is our next remote broadcast gathering. Be sure and join us from Granbury, Texas, 9 to noon, 2 weeks from today, Saturday, June 14th, right here on your favorite streaming and podcast source.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say, before we get into mine, I got something to say about our commercial. But go ahead. All you.
He's going to interrupt you.
I'm going to interrupt you to tell you I'm going to interrupt you later.
That he's not going to interrupt you at this moment, but interrupt you later. It's kind of like a preemptive interrupt.
It's done.
Okay. Lupi Tortilla, try the Mexican pizza. It's awesome. I had some last night, and it's good. It's really good. That's all.
Wow. You interrupted what I was saying for that.
Yes, I did. I certainly did.
Of course, we had another conversation going on that we can't repeat while we were in the commercial break, but that's a story for another day in private.
The after hours.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, time now for the cruise in and events calendars. Don't let me interrupt you.
And who's it sponsored by?
Nope.
No sponsor? Okay.
No.
Well, Saturday at the Ranch, June 7th, which is next week.
Here.
The Ranch Harley-Davidson. It's a two-wheel, four-wheel show. 4115 Texas 6 Frontage Road in College Station. Good college town. A lot of people go there. It's Saturday. I lost my place. Here we go. This is a good day. Hosting a lot of things going on out there. They've got ice cream for the kids. They got a bike wash, car wash. They got DJs, things going on out there. They got food trucks, all that nice stuff happening. Then Alamo City Mopar Car Show. That's also June 7th. The Tower of the Americas, which is the big tower downtown San Antonio. 739 East Caesar, East Chavez Boulevard.
That's Cesar.
Cesar E. At Chavez Boulevard.
Caesar.
That's a pizza place, isn't it?
That's Little Caesars.
No, it's a big tower.
You smoked something before you came here, I could tell.
I wish. It's at the base of the tower. There's parking rates, so you got to be charged. You're going to charge you for parking. And then Octane and Espresso. It's at the Black Rifle Coffee Company, Highway 6 North in Houston.
What day is that?
That is going to be June 8th. It's a Sunday, so it's a week from tomorrow. So there you go. All vehicles are welcome. You can reserve spots. Be cautious. Be careful of the property and all that good stuff. And then we're going to Granbury in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Got a couple of recalls to tell you about. Ford. Imagine that.
No kidding.
Recalling 1,075,299.3 vehicles in the United States over an issue that may prevent the rearview camera from displaying images, increasing the risk of a crash. The recall affects certain vehicles among 21 to 24 Broncos, F-150s, Edge, 23 to 24 Escapes, Corsair, F-250, 350, 450, 550, and 600. Recall also impacts the 22 to 24 Expedition, 22 to 25 Transit, 21 to 23 Mach-E, Lincoln Nautilus, 24 Ranger, Mustang, and the 22 to 24 Navigator. I think that the only thing that they've really left out of here is the Ford Galaxy 500. NHTSA said a software error may cause the rearview camera image to delay, freeze, or not display at all.
Man, that's a lot.
Toyota recalling 500,000 vehicles because of reverse lamps that may fail because of moisture. The recall affects 22 to 25 Tundras, 22 to 25 hybrid pickups, Tundras. The automaker recalling about 491,000 vehicles for all of North America. Those are the recalls this week.
Right.
You know, it's funny because summertime gets close to us now and the recalls kind of go down. I don't think that they've got enough people. I think Doge has done its job over there at NHTSA.
You think?
I don't think Doge has actually done anything yet because most of that money is appropriated by Congress. So they find the problem.
They've got to vote on it.
And then they got to get Congress to do something about it. But I was really wanting to say, you were talking about the camera not displaying. One of our Facebook channels is not displaying. We're opening a ticket with Facebook, but if you're normally join us on Facebook, you need to go to either one of the other Facebook
Well, how would they know
locations.
if we're not on there?
Well,
According to
we
our
were on there earlier.
crack staff.
Yeah. So we're trying to get Facebook doesn't have any support that you can actually reach out to and say, hey. Yeah, I know. That's your surprise look. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Go to YouTube. Go to Odyssey, wherever.
Go to Facebook and complain, where is my in-wheel time?
We need more Mike.
Yeah, something.
Nissan is mired in near-record red ink and mountains of debt. It's racing to cut 20,000 jobs, shutter 7 plants, and slash $3.4 billion in costs. Part of the plan calls for reviewing assets that can be liquidated in a desperate bid to drum up cash to pay for the company's restructuring. That's according to the company. Nissan's own global headquarters building is among the properties now in its sights. Japan's Nikkei Business Daily, an NHK national broadcaster, reported May 23rd. Nissan would structure the deal as a sale-lease transaction so it could continue using the site through a lease, thereby keeping its offices and operations in place, according to the plan. And you know, they build a pretty good car. Nissan Rogue, I mean, my God, they're everywhere.
I'm not a fan of the Rogue. I'm not. But, you know, they build them, people buy
They
them.
sell a lot of them. So
Yeah,
you
they
can't-
do.
They do, but I'm not a fan of it either. My wife was going to buy one, took it to drive it and everything. Salesman wanted to go with us for a ride. So I sat in the back seat. You drive the car, talk to the salesman, find out what you want. I couldn't hear anybody. The back seat was so noisy with the road noise and everything back. I couldn't hear him. So you ain't buying this car. So we didn't. That was my experience with the Rogue.
Okay. Well, I just thought I'd throw it out there. 4 ex-Volkswagen managers were convicted by a German court for their role in the diesel emissions scandal that tarnished the automaker's image and cost billions of dollars. Former executive Heinz Jacob Neusser was given a suspended jail term of 15 months, for his role in the affair that was sparked by the discovery that vehicles were equipped with software to sidestep emission rules. Nusser was previously VW's engine development chief. You bad boy. Another manager who could only be identified as Jens H. Must serve
Code names.
I guess, must serve 4.5 years for manipulating more than 2 million vehicles. Former manager Hanno J. These people should be in jail just because of their name. Was given a term of 2 years and 7 months. And then there's
Okay.
not Thurston Howell III,
Spell
but
it.
Thorsten D. Not
Thorsten.
Well, it could have been Thurston Howell III.
Did Mike type that?
You know who Thurston Howell III
Yeah,
was?
yeah. Muffet.
Come, sit right down in it.
Muffin.
Got a suspended sentence for 1 year and 10 months. All four had denied the allegations. I didn't do it, I promise. VW admitted to U.S. regulators in September of 2015 that it had cheated on emissions test. A shopping center with a shuttered Bed Bath this is a great story. Bed Bath & Beyond store is in violation of a Detroit suburb city code for storing dozens of Tesla vehicles in its surface parking lot. In a statement, Charmaine Kettler Schmult, what a name. Kettler Schmult, Schmult. I think I changed my name. Director of Planning and Community Development for Farmington Hills, Michigan, said the landlord of the Hunters Square Shopping Center has been notified that storage of vehicles is not a permitted use. Isn't that what happens?
In a parking lot?
In a parking lot? Isn't it a storage facility?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah, I would say.
Quote, the enforcement process is being followed and takes time, Kettler Schmult said. The Tesla inventory takes up several rows of the parking lot. Or, as of May 25th, most of the vehicles being stored were Cybertrucks, which have been seen disappointing sales so far.
Okay.
In March, Ford's electric F-150 Lightning topped the Cybertruck in U.S. registrations.
You know, if they were storing Ferraris there, they wouldn't be complaining.
The Tesla storage, which is taking up a portion of the parking lot near the former Bed Bath & Beyond store and still open Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant, came to light in an Instagram post about a week ago. Hey, Charmaine.
Is it Schmaltz?
Schmaltz.
Hey, what would a
Malt
nickname
liquor?
be? Schmaltz liquor.
GM investing $888 million in a New York propulsion plant to increase engine production. Investment at the Tonawanda propulsion plant in Buffalo, New York is a shift from a previously announced $300 million commitment to make electric vehicle drive units at that plant. The move is likely another sign of automakers adapting to slower than expected market demand for EVs, no kidding, and comes after the Detroit automaker aggressively lobbied Congress to rescind California electric vehicle rules. GM said the investment will support the sixth generation of GM's V8 engines used in full-size trucks and SUVs, expected to be more fuel efficient. I thought that those were some pretty interesting stories this week.
Yep.
We got more, and we're going to get to those in the next hour. But
Perfect.
yeah, is that woman's name again?
Schmaltz?
I was thinking, what would a nickname be for people with those?
Schmalti,
No. Schmo.
Schmo,
Schmo.
Charmaine.
Is it with a C
Who
or an
is
S?
C-H? Who is the Charmaine? Charmaine?
Squeezably soft.
Yeah, something like that.
No, that's Charmin. They have that lower level
In
over
his
there in
neighborhood, they
Naderville
call it
called
Charmaine.
Charmaine.
It's the champagne of toilet paper.
Well, there you go, Charmaine. Go
Sorry.
for it. Kettler Schmultz.
Send all of your wonderful
Why don't we
comments
Google her picture and put that
No.
up? Put it up. Charmaine Kettler Schmultz.
Sorry. We haven't been sued in a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's never too late.
It's
Never too late. That's very true.
I don't want to get those confused with these, so let's put these away.
Okay.
It's time now for a quick break. We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We shall return, like it or not, right after these quick messages.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us. Welcome to the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, auto racing's next Chris Economaki. It's track announcer and short track racing god or goddess,
He needs an accent. Chris Economaki.
Rodney Rodriguez. Also, gave you my thoughts on driving the 2025 Dodge Durango RT Hemi. And Jeff has the Motor Minute in this segment of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, we always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Our chief engineer, David Ainsley, is resting up for our big venture up north to the Lone Star Street Rod Association event.
Yes. 50th.
50th event.
50th event.
50th.
So that's in 2 weeks. We'll have a 3-hour show that weekend, and we hope that you will join us then. But in the meantime and in between time, Los Cucuys lead and dancing track announcer Rodney Rodriguez.
Dang, you figured out my other gig.
Yes, I did.
Wondering where you go every Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Me and the Cucuys, we hit those on off weekends, and then apparently some other time I'm a real estate broker in Houston. So,
Are you selling property here now?
No, I'm not selling property anywhere, guys.
Unless it's a bridge out west or
Yeah.
something.
You probably are dealing racetracks that are going broke, and here's the property. Do something with it. Well, I can't.
People started wanting me to sell racetracks and empty pastures, and you know what? I'm like, okay, it's time to find a new profession. Let's do something else.
But
I like that Chris Economaki thing, man. That's an honor to be called that.
Yeah, no kidding. I met him one time. The nicest, approachable guy you'd never think that he is known by billions of people around the world. But he was.
Yeah.
A great guy, great personality, very approachable, likable guy, and an excellent announcer and reporter. And
I always liked on some of those old Wide World of Sports things where he would be like in the pits, and they would do like NASCAR races, and Jackie Stewart was the expert analyst,
Yes,
whatever
Jackie
for and he'd be like, and here comes Cale Yarborough and Darrell Waltrip, like that's weird, but hell, that's the way it works now. That's the way it works now.
so what do you think about Dana Patrick doing the Indy 500?
I had to bring it up. I gotta go. I'm done. I'm on it. Pod me down. I'm done.
You know what, Don? She comes on the screen. I don't care what she says.
I don't either.
I'm just watching.
Yeah.
I'm just watching.
As most
She
of
looks
us are.
great.
Jeff he's much more thought-provoking in his passion for or against anybody.
She is not a nice person.
We don't care about that. We don't know that aspect of it, but she sure
I
is
do.
easy to look at.
Yeah, I'm not going to marry her. I mean, are you kidding? I mean, if I did, that
You'd
would
be divorced.
It wouldn't be more than a weekend anyway, huh?
Well, momentarily, I'd be like breaking a law, I guess, if I married her now because I'm married. But she. I will say one thing about her. She definitely like many ladies do these days. She ages like a fine wine. She looks much better.
Man, you need glasses.
The older she
And
gets.
let me tell you something. I was actually kind of impressed by her commentary during the Indy 500. She's come a long way on these broadcasts enthusiasts as far as a broadcaster is concerned, in my mind.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of people that say the same thing to me about her that they say about like Tony Romo on football. It's like, okay, if he can see this stuff so well, why didn't he win more? And that's what I get about Danica. You know, if she's this good at breaking stuff down, why didn't she win more?
She won one
It's
open
easy
wheel
from the booth.
One open wheel race in Japan in like 10 years
1910,
ago,
yeah.
whatever. And that became, she's a hot commodity. Oh boy, they let her win. It was a non. Anyways, I'm
That 500
I'm not a
that
fan.
she ran, I guess it was 2012 when she finished in the top 5. That was, I really did think, okay, she's got a really good future coming here. But I mean, look, the whole thing she did with GoDaddy and all that, she changed marketing substantially for racing. But
Hey, we've got to give a shout out to Ken Schrader, because today is his 70th birthday.
All right, Kenny Schrader.
Remember Kenny Schrader?
Yeah.
I never met the man, but I was impressed. He was 1985 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year, turned 70 today.
And after his
And
career
that-
after he stopped his career, didn't he get into a lot of the safety aspects of NASCAR and because he was the one that
Randy LaJoy. That's Randy LaJoy.
well, Schrader was
Kenny-
the one that ran up
he
to
still
Earnhardt's
races.
car.
Yeah, he's the one that walked up on that
Yeah,
mess.
and I think he went into the safety aspect.
Kenny Schrader to this day still carries a full. As a matter of fact, he raced somewhere last night. He races a dirt late model.
Yep.
And he is very active in the short track circles with dirt track racing and keeps a very busy schedule. Not quite as busy as Kyle Larson, but not too dadgum far behind. He's still very active.
Well,
in
Kyle
the
said he's not going to do the double next year. He said it's not worth it. He's done it twice and kind of failed. First year he did, they got rained out. This year he crashed out. And
It's just really hard. The time part of it, the logistical part, and then those races, they kind of there's a lot of room for failure there
Exactly.
for it to not work. And I can't help but think, him as that race started and it rained, and then Scott McLaughlin had the accident on the first lap to where he's in that car. You have to think that mentally he's just all over the place, thinking, okay, I've got a very fine amount of time that I can stay in here, and I got to get out.
yeah,
So
and there's talks that
I
they're
don't
going to
think he
change the
needs to.
times. Yeah,
And what driver was it that peed his pants?
I have no
I
idea.
didn't-
Did you
I
hear
didn't hear
that?
that.
Yeah. So they're
No.
stuck. They're stuck out there, and he's got to pee, and you can't get out of the car because you don't know when they're going to open the track back up for the race. And I can't remember the driver that had that issue, but yeah, he peed his pants, and he apologized to the crew when he got out. He says, "I'm sorry, guys, but you got to do what you got to do."
You got to go. You got to go, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Gotta
So
go,
let's
you
get
gotta
into
go.
a little short track racing, Rod. What do you?
I don't know
what do
how
you?
we got there.
What are you up to? Are you going racing tonight?
I'm not. I'm actually home for the weekend. Actually, what I will be doing tonight, there is a factory stock race in Greenwood, Louisiana, which is over Boot Hill Speedway,
All right.
as it's called. Not too far from you guys. About 4.5 hours from me. Right around that Shreveport area, Louisiana, and it is a factory stock race. $30,000 to win.
What?
A
You've got to be
factory-
kidding!
137 entries last night.
Oh my God! They can't all fit on the track.
They can't all fit on the track, so they locked in the top 4 last night. Those are locked in with some really heavy hitting factory stock drivers on dirt, and these factory stocks are the stock cars that are racing the pull off asphalt 10-inch tires and so forth. But so you've got 4 spots filled in that, and I think they're only starting 24. I'm assuming it's going to be. So $30K on the line for a dirt track stock car race.
How long
guys.
is the track?
I think it's maybe 3/8, not a half mile. I don't think. I think at one point it was a half mile, and it became a 3/8.
It rained, kind of washed part of it away.
So
Sure.
explain to me what a factory stock car is, because I mean I know what it is in my mind. It's one that you go and buy at the dealership, and do you take that car out on the racetrack?
That was the intent. But what it is, it's a factory stock in the sense that you look at them and they have the steel body. It probably has a Monte Carlo SS tail and nose. The late 80s.
That yes.
But everything in between, I mean, metric chassis is usually what this is for best performance. You may have a couple of Leaf Spring cars that are still trying to do this. If you have a Leaf Spring car, it's probably home built, because most of these, and this is just one of a few big money shows that these factory stocks run from Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana. It's very geographical specific to us. But where they do this is, and the funny thing about this is, you can probably buy a bare chassis of one of these without shocks, without all of that, get it built probably around $15,000, which a lot of people say that's economical. I'm like, that's not economical for a stock car. That's not economical for a stock car. But then you add in the shocks, which, you know, every point of the car, 4 shocks, $800 a piece. Send them back, get them revalved for $400. They run on pump gas. This is kind of where they get you, where it's like it's economical. They run on pump gas, and the pull-off tires are $30 a piece, $40 a piece. Yeah, but the rest of the car's $30,000. You know,
What's a pull-off tire?
so that's so what they do is a lot of these dirt track guys
Here we go.
they go to whether it be, you know, an ASA All-Star
Yep.
team or UARA, so they buy where these super late models are racing the big 10-inch slick tires.
Yeah.
They buy them used because you buy them used and put them on dirt and shoot, they're ready to go. They're
That's
just getting
what makes
primed
it
up.
economical. You
Oh,
buying
my
used
God.
tires and running on
Yeah.
pump gas.
Oh, my
I'm telling
God. And they don't knob them up?
Now you can, now they allow grooving. See, that's where this you know, they sit there and they're able to groove
Yeah.
that. That's where this class has got out of hand, because it used to be, it had to be a
Pocket
bare
knife out there
frame
cutting your
stock
tires.
chassis.
Yeah.
You know, with a regular unibody, whatever you want to call it. It had to be like a rusted old chassis that we used to race back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not anymore now. Boy, you got offset chassis and all these things on there, and 9-inch. Well, no. You can't do 9-inch rear ends or any of that. The engine, I'm telling you guys, if you read the engine rules of this, I mean, you're not running headers, 1.5 GM valves, you know, cast iron intake, 4412 carburetor. The engine rules are like, these cars can't be that fast, can they? I don't know what they're
What are
doing.
they all run in first gear automatics?
No, I think a lot of them. I think you can run manual. Because
so
I think some guys still. That was originally one of the rules, but that's where it's kind of opened itself up a lot. But think about that: $30,000
And
one
100
weekend of action.
And how many hundreds of cars? 101?
137 last night.
130. So they must have gotten entries from all over the United States.
Let's put some pig on this lipstick.
And this is the first full weekend, really, of summer break. So you can take the
but what
kids, the
happens with
family, huh?
What happens with this class is you, on any given weekend, doesn't even have to be a holiday weekend, doesn't have to be, you'll find a factory stock race in our area, because it's more specific to our area. Because like Florida, not even a thing. Florida, they're still asphalt. But you can find on any given weekend at least $5,000 to win for a factory stock race. And, you know, you've got guys that have raced in the big IMCA modified cars,
Yep.
and limited modifieds, and even the IMCA stock cars that are now finding a home in the factory stocks. And I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, with that kind of money, not that this sport is profitable, but it's a hell of a lot. I would a hell of a lot like the chance of racing for $30,000 than, you know, $200 to win the feature. Crazy, isn't it?
Are there
It's crazy.
are there any wing sprint car races anywhere around?
You know, actually, I think in Houston, and
What?
I think it's 4th of July weekend at HMP. If I'm not, I'll verify that, but I'm pretty sure, 90% sure that on 4th of July weekend at HMP, because they're still racing on the asphalt, they raced last week, that you were going to have a winged sprint car race there.
If they have that,
on the pavement.
if they have that, I'm going.
Yeah, that should be a good show.
Are you calling that?
I am actually working an event the next day. Remember, I was telling you guys about my soccer stuff now.
Okay.
I'm doing Gold Cup over, not broadcasting it, not broadcasting it. But I may try to get over to Houston to be a fan and have a $1 beer and $1 hot dog, because I think that would be fun. I'll be in town that weekend.
Will you?
Yeah, but sprint cars are, for example, tonight in Corpus Christi, you've got non-wing sprint cars, but it's the 305 sprint cars. You know, the 305, cubic inch engine sprint car, which sprint car's still a sprint car, but 305s, you got the 360s, and then, of course, the winged 410s that raced a couple of weeks ago
man.
at Texas Motor Speedway with the High Limit Series. So A lot of dirt, guys. A lot of dirt. 30,000 for a stock car.
Do you still have a race car?
I've got a dwarf car. I do have a dwarf car.
Do you ever run it?
I don't have time, and it's the same thing to where the dwarf car that I have now from 2017, the last time that I drove that thing, it's obsolete. They've gone into a different, pretty much a mini modified. If I went out there, they'd lap me on lap 2.
Really?
They wouldn't do that already. Yeah, it's just too much
So
evolution.
what would it take to spec it up to today's cars?
A new car. There's no working backwards.
no
on some
specking
of
going
these
on.
things,
So what you're telling me is that there's a whole bunch of cars like yours that are out there sitting in people's garages because they can't compete with today's car. So why not have a class for your car, the older stuff?
You know what? Houston on Pavement has tried to do that, where they did, because there are so many of the old street stock type of HMP stock cars sitting wherever you want to call them. A lot of them, what they have done, though, I will say, is that you get a lot of the old Pavement stock cars, and they've actually kind of reworked them because it doesn't take quite as much to a dirt track, a regular or weekly dirt track car, not a factory stock car.
I got you.
Yeah, because you pull some weight out and you adjust different things, and motor, whatever the case is, tires. So a lot of them have found a new home, and I think that that's one of the things that's made it so hard for pavement racing around here, even with just the one track, is so many of those cars have been rehomed, and it's not worth going back to race once a quarter. So I think that's what a lot of these guys are doing, and I totally understand that. I mean,
How's your car show doing?
Everything is going really well. I was actually out for O'Reilly at it was called Bandas y Trocas last weekend over at TMS, Texas Motor Speedway, a truck show. And is that what you were asking about, or were you talking about the podcast? I'm sorry.
Well, the podcast. Are you still on the radio
You got
station
so much
in
going
Austin?
on. He's such a busy guy.
Are you still on
the revved up. We took a little bit of a break. Now we moved to Tuesdays at 7:00. Dirty Air's on demand. Just about any time on Racing America, there's an episode there. I do a daily sports show in the Austin area at 9:00. So we talk, right now Texas baseball and all that good stuff. But the Revved Up and Dirty Air are going well. I mean, there's always lots to talk about because we're just it's a heavy influx of racing all around us, and the regional and national stuff is popping also. Streaming like we're doing here, all of us have been doing for the longest time, is a constant conversation, especially with Prime becoming the provider of NASCAR last week. That was a huge thing in my opinion. So there's always lots to talk, and look, guys, I'm gonna say this on here. I hope I don't disturb anybody, but lots to bitch about all the time when it comes to racing.
Yeah, and I'm going to do that right now because this going to Prime stuff is a bunch of garbage. There, I said it.
It. And the one thing that I saw during the week, because they had, the numbers were comparable to what Fox and NBC has done, but apparently what Prime has done is they captured a totally new demographic. If you go back and look at the demos that watched that race from Charlotte, the 55 plus that was always kind of a heavier audience didn't pay attention, probably because the same thing. They don't want that, but it's a shift, man. It is a seismic shift in how you cover this sport.
But Rodney, they went from Indy 500. We're going to have the double and all that stuff, and then when you kind of watch the double, it's not on the local channel. So that's all I'm saying.
To me, those two races, there are certain races that need to be where anybody can access them. It's the Daytona 500, the Indy 500, the Coke 600, the Southern 500.
Yeah, all of that.
Some of those they just, and that's just the way that I was raised. Those are just things that we watched and what we always did. I understand what's happening here, and again, it's all economics. These unbelievable amounts of money that are being thrown around for this stuff. But I do agree. There are certain events that everybody should have access to, quote unquote, free.
Yep.
Hell, the free ain't free anymore. So
that's
the
for
other
sure.
part.
That was it ever. Rodney, it's great to talk to you, my friend.
Absolutely, guys. Always a pleasure, man. Look forward to seeing y'all soon.
Thank you,
Got
man.
it. Love you. See you later.
You got it, man. Take
All
care.
right.
Love you.
Man,
All right.
he is so busy.
I know.
Yeah, I love it. Just ahead, a review of the 2025 Dodge Durango and Jeff's Motor Minute after this quick break on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flameado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. The Inwell Time Car Talk Show thanks you for 14 wonderful years. Yep, our first show aired May 7th, 2011 on a local radio station. Then it was a move to the digital world and social media, and you followed. Thank you. We continue to build and grow our fan base, and it's all because of you and your auto enthusiast friends. We appreciate your support. It's always great to see you at our remote broadcasts, and we hope you'll continue to stop by and say hello. It's been a great ride, and we hope to bring you more fun and adventure right here on the Inwell Time Car Talk Show.
Hey, our last stop on the Inwell Time Spring Tour happens June 12th. It's still spring officially, by the way. June 12th in Granbury at the Lone Star Street Rod Association State Run, the 50th anniversary for that, so it's going to be a big celebration up there. That live broadcast will air at a special time, 9 to noon, and we hope that you will join us. Let's join Jeff right now with the Motor Minute.
Yep. Did you know that there was 3 drivers who were disqualified from Indy? Did you know that?
Yes.
Indy announced on May 26th that 3 drivers, including the 2025 runner-up, have been officially disqualified from the race for various violations. The 3 drivers have been disqualified following post-race inspections that took place at the Speedway. Marcus Ericsson, driving for Andretti, was among those disqualified for the race. He finished in second place, being runner-up to Palou. However, since has been disqualified. The numbers 27, 28 entries from Andretti Global and the number 90 from Prima Racing have been moved to the rear of the field. All 3 cars have been reordered back to that station. Additionally, they've been fined $100,000 and they've been suspended to the race that's going on this weekend in Detroit. So shame on them. I don't know what it was. They didn't say, but
shame.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't racing or something like that. And lastly, you know what's the 100-year anniversary? Not you guys. The Goodyear blimp. The Goodyear blimp Pilgrim was the first during World War II. The countless historical events. Goodyear blimp has been flying overhead for more than a century. It travels more than 100 days per year. Trips ranging from anywhere from 3 days, Mike, to 3 weeks. How about that?
No, 3 weeks.
And it's a rare opportunity when you do get a ride on it. It's basically invitation only. We had opportunities when I was with ATD because Goodyear would sponsor things. And you win a package, go on up there. But Joe Herbs is the senior pilot, and Jerry Hessman is the chief pilot. So there you go. Congratulations to the Goodyear blimp. And this June 3rd, they're going to have all 3 of them.
Any relationship to Les Nessman?
No. Jerry Hessman. H-I-S-S.
Hessman. That would have been the disc jockey. Yeah. Hessman.
They're going to have 3 of them, which is a rarity. All 3 are going to be flying around in Akron, Ohio. So good.
Where do they
stuff.
keep the turkeys?
I don't know.
That was the helicopter, but I think with 3 blimps, I'm thinking they're going to have bumper cars in the air. Boing, boing.
He's shaking his chair when he does that. Did you see that? I ain't going to look at that.
I can imagine.
Oh, man.
Blimp.
I just threw up in my throat.
Time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2025 Dodge Durango. Final assembly location, Detroit, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen. Comes in these trim levels, the GT, the RT, and the SRT. I had the RT 20th anniversary premium all-wheel drive 345. It's a standard SUV, 3 rows, seats 6 people. Exterior changes from last model year. It was all new in 2011. 2011.
Yeah.
Do you see how old that is? Mm-hmm. It's old, but you know what? It still looks good. Mm-hmm. I like it. Exterior features. Bold, aggressive, American muscle-style front fascia. built-in hood scoop with Hemi graphics and 345 badging. Bronze-colored wheels set this RT apart. Shape of the rear lighting reminds of the Dodge Charger design. What I liked, this is an SUV with attitude. Well, that's not the one that I drove, but that's the basic one.
Right.
But the one that I drove has attitude. And it's funny what you can do with paint.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. What could use improvement? Would love to see an evolved redesign. I mean, this thing is, 13, 14 years old? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's the bronze wheels that I was talking about. Interior highlights. Even though it's a 14-year-old design, the dash layout beats newer competitors. Steering wheel controls are the best. SRT seating with the 345 logo on the seat back, comfortable and supportive buckets. Rear volume. Sorry, did I say rear?
Yep.
I didn't mean to say rear. The radio volume and tuning knobs for the suspension, for the superior sound system is good. I can't even read my own writing here.
I don't feel so bad.
You know, you should pre-read these before you go on the air.
I should. I want you to look at that. How I did that. What the hell does that? What is that?
You know what that said? It was. That's what it
What it does. Cargo room, large. What I liked about it, comfort and the control functions. I think, because I'm just guessing now at my mumble.
You want to borrow my glasses?
No, I got glasses on. That's not the problem. Sight is not the problem. It's brain malfunction. And clearly, it didn't transfer to this right-hand writing implement. 5.7-liter V8, 360 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic transmission. Get this, tow rating 8,700 pounds.
Wow.
Haul rating 1,350. Let's go camping. Let's go racing. Let's just go and do it somewhere. 14 miles per gallon city.
Oh, boy.
22 highway for combined to 17. I actually got 18.7 because Kimberly, I did not burn the tires off the back like so many journalists do.
No hauling donkeys or
No,
anything?
none of that.
1,300.
18.7 miles per gallon over 329.9 miles. What I like, the well-matched power with the drivetrain. All-wheel drive with an independent suspension rocks it. Ride and handling, smoothness. It's good. What could use improvement? It's a little on the heavy side, but it is big. But 5,313 pounds. That's 2.5 tons, my friend. Mm-hmm. Base trim price $54,495. Prices tested, yikes, $72,460. You can get in the V6 version for $41,995.
No, it is a nice. You had a nice one. I've been seeing a lot more of them since you had that.
Yeah. Competitors, Ford Expedition starts at $57,025, which, by the way, is all new for $25,000, but no V8s. Does have 440 horsepower. The Chevy Suburban starts at $61,500. It has the 6.2-liter V8 with 420 horsepower. And the Toyota Sequoia starts at $62,425 with a 3.4-liter hybrid V6. But get this, turns out 437 horsepower.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So there are some competitors out there. I invite you to check them all out. But good old American Grunt, there's nothing wrong with that.
And they make a nice interior. Even
They
on the
really
pickups,
do.
they
Yes.
do.
Yeah, they do. All right, that's my review of the 2025 Dodge Durango RT. Hey,
Beautiful.
If you would like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We're back after this break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us.
From the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, this is your place for all things automotive. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we talk to author Randy Leffingwell about the Porsche 911. He's got a new book out. Later, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History. I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Our chief engineer, David Ainsley, resting up for the big trip up to Granbury in a couple of weeks. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday for our live broadcast. It's 11:30 Central Time. In case you're listening on a podcast, yeah, we do have a live broadcast, and it airs Saturday, as I mentioned in the promo, from 10 to noon Central Time. Just want to keep it all straight.
Sure.
Above board,
Okay.
which is rare for this show. Because
Above board, that's for sure.
Yeah, because usually we run kind of under the radar.
We have loose boards.
We do
Our
have
boards
a lot.
are
Yeah,
loose.
and some of them need to be
Don't step
nailed
on them
down.
either.
Yeah, that's right.
You get a nail in your foot.
Author Randy Leffingwell got a brand new book out. This is Mr. Porsche 911. And that is a total compliment. Randy, how are you? Good morning. It's good to see you again, my friend. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
He is muted.
He went mute again.
Are you muted? Well, we can't hear
we
a
can fix that,
darn word that you've got to say. So while
Probably a good thing.
he's looking at it, no, we can't hear.
There
it.
he is.
Is that better?
That's oh my God, yes.
Sorry, I didn't do it from my end. I've been.
It's
checking
all
this
your
thing
fault. It's all. Hey, you've been around long enough. You've been around long enough to know it's always your fault.
You know, when my TV goes out at home, I yell, Mike. I'm always yelling at him when the
That's
audio
right.
goes out.
And
I
Mike's
blame
90
everything.
miles away.
Kathy goes, what are you talking about? It's Mike's fault.
So put me up
know-
full screen, would you?
Yep.
I remember talking with you guys once before, and it was so much fun. I'm so glad you've invited me back. This is great. Thank you.
Well, I'm showing your book right now, and it's nice. It's big. It's heavy. It probably costs
Yes.
$1,000. This is the
No.
Porsche 911, every model since 1964. And I know every Porsche file who is watching this show right now is going, ooh, that looks nice.
It is a nice book.
It is beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Where did you do the photography, or did you steal some stuff? How did that work out?
Grand theft photo. No, I did about a third of it. I'd say the front third of the book is mine, and then the back 2/3 come from a few other photographers, and a lot of it from gracious, generous Mother Porsche's press department.
Well, I have to tell you, I mean, seriously, I really admire Porsches. I have a very close friend of mine that I went to high school with. He's got one, a pristine one, keeps in the garage under the cover and all that stuff. I've ridden in them, and there is really no other car that is like a Porsche. And I can only imagine what it would be like in a 911. This is Germany's response to the Corvette.
Absolutely right. And it's that you really bring up a very interesting point, because if you look at the world, there are, every one of the sports cars of the world represents the country. You've got Jaguar and Aston Martin for the UK. You've got Mercedes and Porsche for Germany. You've got Ferrari and Alfa Romeo for Italy. You've got Corvette and maybe something else for the US. But everything is purely representative of the country where it was born.
I'm,
Really fascinating.
I'm a Corvette guy, and I have to tell you
Oh, yeah.
that when I see a Porsche sports car of any kind, I always take note of it, look at it, see it going down the road, and I'm always impressed. And I'm a Corvette guy.
And don't forget Yugo for Russia.
Yeah, God. Yeah, there's that.
I had forgot Yugo. That's a shortcoming on my part. I'll broaden my horizon.
We need the Yugo book next year.
Yeah. So let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the Porsche 911. Obviously, at some point in your life early on, because you've been doing this for a while now, this is the 4th edition of the Porsche 911, that you're a Porsche guy. How did you become a Porsche guy?
My uncle introduced me to it way back when I was 6 or 7 years old. He had a Porsche Speedster. And that's the 356 version that everybody calls the bathtub, sort of familiar to those Steve McQueen and Paul Newman movies.
Sure.
He had one of those, and he raced a little bit, but my father was a man who felt that the sun rose and set on the Buick Electra 225.
Yeah, all right.
Man.
So about as opposite as you could be.
Yes.
My uncle to my father. And while I've always admired and have owned a couple of great big American highway cruisers, my heart kind of fell into those little kind of quirky engine in the wrong place German cars. And I just got more and more interested in them over time. Did my first book on them way back in 1991. And since then, it's just kind of become I guess you'd say a magnificent obsession.
Do you own a Porsche 911 today?
No, I do not. They're too rich for a poor author's blood.
Ah.
Okay. Do you own any Porsche today?
I do. I was very fortunate. I inherited a Cayenne plug-in hybrid from a very dear, generous friend.
Oh my God! That's an awesome vehicle.
Oh, it sure is. It sure is. I love it. And he put some suspension things on it that make it really fun to throw around corners. But yeah, it's a great vehicle.
When did the Cayenne come out? About 2000-ish?
Yeah, I think 2004 or 5. I was talking to a buddy about it the other day and forgot to research it. But yeah, I know they were working on it. They were inventing it in the late 1990s.
Yeah, because I remember getting one when they first came out. They had one in the press fleet, and I was fortunate enough to get it, and I was thoroughly impressed. And that was at a time when you're going, what? They're building an SUV? No, they're going to ruin it. Oh my gosh! And what a brilliant manufacturing decision that was, because what a successful vehicle it is.
Well, it essentially saved the company, and it definitely saved the 911. Porsche was in real financial trouble in those days, and there was risk that Porsche was going to be sold to Mercedes. Toyota was talking to them. General Motors was talking to them. And the whole question was, what's the future of this company? And Wendell and Wiedeking, the chairman at the time, had this crazy idea. Well, there's 5 regions in the world that we haven't looked at yet. I think it was Brazil, Russia, India, China, and it's BRICS. Oh, Saudis, the desert countries, because there were fewer paved roads. 911s were never going to sell there, but they could produce something that would work for those cultures. And so that was the thinking behind the car, but its immediate sensational success absolutely saved the 911.
Wow.
Is everything still made in Stuttgart?
No, they make Cayennes, I think, are made in Leipzig, along with Macan. They make the Boxster and Cayman, they make in Osnabrück in Germany. No, is it Germany? Yes, it's Germany. They were making them at a factory in Finland, I think, for a while, but they brought that back onto the continent. So pretty much everything is within a few hundred miles of Stuttgart. But no, the Stuttgart campus is 911s and the Taycan electric car.
Have you been to Stuttgart? Have you been to the factory?
A number of times.
Oh, good. I was waiting for you to say, no, I haven't. I'm going to go, okay, so we're going to start a GoFundMe page for you to go because you deserve it.
Oh, you're so kind. No, I've been, for a while, I was going as often as 4 times a year.
Wow.
Nice, yeah.
Nice.
And I
was-
assume that you got a lot of your information from the factory.
Absolutely correct. I've had a great working relationship with their archives department since my first book in 1991. And so, being kind of a regular visitor, they came to look on me as a credible, real person. And, well, you know how it is. You're a journalist. So, the first couple of times you show up to someplace, you have to open your suitcase, pull out the hoop, set it on the easel, spray gasoline around it, set fire to it, and jump through it.
Yes,
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Jump through the burning hoop a couple of times. Then the next time they say, as you've got it all set up, they say, well, you don't need to light it.
Yes. And then
then
the
the
last
next
time
time-
you don't have, and then you don't even have to break out the hoops. They're going, Randy, come on in.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
Exactly
yeah.
right.
Have a
And that's-
brewski on us.
Well, that took a little longer, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, what makes this book an expansion of the 3rd edition?
It's the addition of about 2.5 dozen pages at the back that talk about the new generation, the 992 and the 992.2, which introduced the, in my mind, utterly amazing 911 GTS. That's the Porsche, you probably read about it, that has a regenerating hybrid system. You can't plug it in, but kind of like the Formula One cars, the braking and the coasting turn the alternator into a generator and feed the battery so that when you then pull out of the corner and you need the extra 100 horsepower, you've got it.
Push button
The-
horsepower, basically. Yeah.
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 But this new book talks about basically the additions to it are the 2nd generation, well, actually the entire 992 series, which is the current ones in production, and they'll be in production for another couple of years.
So, when you look at the Porsche, the 911 in particular, are they're still building the 911?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
How much? What's? Pardon my ignorance here, but what is the base price of a 911 in U.S. dollars? About.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Yeah.
It's
70?
around 110, I think.
Okay. So which is the new one? The one that's like $250,000?
That would be the Turbo S.
Yeah.
And that's been around for a couple of years. That has 7 million horsepower. It can change the rotation of the Earth.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and you know, to me, and the few times that I have been in a Porsche, I can tell you that you can't even compare it to BMW. BMW's got its own thing going on.
Yes.
This is a tighter, more compliant. It is a different feel than BMW. It is It is exclusive to Porsche. I don't know how they do it, and I don't know any of the mechanics behind it, but they are a ride unto itself.
Well, their suspension engineers are incredibly passionate. But I think the real secret of Porsche's success forever has been their testing and development programs. You know, they have a test circuit at their Weissach facility, and they run their cars around that until they break. and then they figure out what broke and they fix it, and then they run them again until that breaks again or something else breaks. And they do that not only with their series production cars, they do it with their race cars. And one of the most interesting things about the race car and the series car test track is that there's this thing that they call the Ruttelstrecke, which is the rough road.
Yeah.
And imagine a cobblestone street in Europe after an earthquake. So instead of just being generally bumpy, those bumps are 2 or 3 inches apart. And they run the car through there at speed, at 100 kilometers, 60 miles an hour. And then at the end of it, there's a jump. And they run the race cars off the jump. And that jump is, it's about like this. It's about a quarter of a meter, a third of a meter. There was a story years and years and years ago where Ferrari wanted to see Porsche's testing facility. They were thinking about whether they go into the series the RS Spider was in. And the man in charge said, don't show them. And Helmut Bott, who was in charge at the time, said, no, invite them, because we will show them what they do and they won't enter. And so they showed them absolutely everything, took them out to the test track. They had 911s running over the jump, and then they had the race cars going over the jump. And the Ferrari engineers looked around and said, you do this? And the race car came around again and went over the jump, and again and went over the jump. And they turned to Professor Bott and said, how many times do you do this? And Bott said, until the car breaks, and then we fix it and test it again. At the least, it's 1,000 kilometers over this road and the jump.
Do you
In a
have?
couple days.
Pardon me for interrupting, but do you address the testing facility in your book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Good.
Weizsäck is a hell of a facility, and it's a major part of the story of the 911.
Well, and clearly now you're a part of the Porsche family, because apparently they've welcomed you into the fold.
Well, let's put it this way. When I call them and ask if I can come visit, they don't say no. Nein, Herr Leffingwell, you cannot come. They're always very welcoming. They always are incredibly helpful to me. I'm very, very fortunate.
If I bought a Porsche, would I be allowed to go to the factory and see it being built, or would I be able to get a tour of the factory? How does that work?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. You'd have to arrange it in advance. You can't just walk up one day and say, I'd like to go for a tour.
Sure.
Because there's so many people that want to. But especially if you're getting a car built, you can maybe, if you're lucky, even time it so that as you are walking along that fantastic assembly line, you will see them doing something to your car.
All right.
Sweet.
I've known a lot of my friends that have had that, and it's a real sensation.
Randy, it is a pleasure to talk to you, as always. Please stay in
thank you,
touch.
Don. It's
Please stay
wonderful.
in touch with us. Can we get your book on Amazon?
Absolutely, on Amazon or through motorbooks.com. But yes, Amazon.
And the reason I say Amazon, because if you're a Prime member, you could get it delivered tomorrow, well, we got Father's Day coming up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Father's Day, even if you didn't have Prime, you could get it.
Yeah. So here's the book. There you can see it right there. And we invite you to check it out online.
Right back at
yeah, there you go. The Porsche 911, every model since 1964. Randy Leffingwell, our guest today, and the author of this wonderful book. Randy, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. You have yourself a great weekend.
Thank you, Don. Happy Father's Day to you all, guys.
Thank you.
Very good.
for
Thank you,
today.
sir. Thank
Take
you.
care of yourself. Just ahead, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History. And I'll bring you this week's auto news headlines. All coming up on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Back in a flash.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flameado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. The NWell Time Car Talk Show thanks you for 14 wonderful years. Yep, our first show aired May 7th, 2011 on a local radio station. Then it was a move to the digital world and social media, and you followed. Thank you. We continue to build and grow our fan base, and it's all because of you and your auto enthusiast friends. We appreciate your support. It's always great to see you at our remote broadcasts, and we hope you'll continue to stop by and say hello. It's been a great ride, and we hope to bring you more fun and adventure right here on the NWell Time Car Talk Show.
Hey, welcome back to NWell Time. Looking forward to seeing you at the Lone Star Street Rod Association State Run 50th Anniversary in Granbury. That's coming up in 2 weeks from today, June 12th. We'll be there. If you can't be there in person, join us for our live broadcast special time, 9 to noon on that day in Granbury, down at the park.
You betcha.
And you get there and you go, I don't know where they are. Just ask anybody in town and they'll
There'll
tell
be
you.
signs, absolutely, and
Yeah.
people, you'll just follow the hot rods.
Time now for the racing calendar, sponsored by Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge. And Mr. Jeffrey Zekin has that.
Thank you for that. The Detroit Grand Prix is kicking off. There's races today, the big ones tomorrow. The IMSA guys are running, and it is a street race, street circuit, obviously. It's on Peacock at 3:30 this afternoon. Oh, boy. And then you've got the Indy guys, the open wheel guys are running tomorrow through the streets, and it's actually a 1.64-mile track.
Is that in Detroit?
Yes, in the streets of Detroit.
Huh.
100 laps, and they go from the back straight to 181 miles an hour, and then you got to make a left turn at 35.
And are they worried about getting their hubcap stolen?
Well,
there?
no, nothing like that. Chicago, it's a different city altogether.
Or St. Louis.
Or St. Louis. But now I lost my train of thought. You got something on your shoulder there. Okay, Formula. I'll get back to it.
Sorry, it was the open wheel thing.
It was the open wheel thing.
Trains off the tracks.
Yeah, anyways, that's tomorrow. And then you've got, that's the Grand Prix. Formula One is going on. It is actually the Spanish Grand Prix, ooh la la. And you've got NHRA coming up. Actually, this weekend as well. It's the New England Nationals, the New England Dragway. You've been there before. You know what's going on.
I've never been there.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
That was not on the tour when I was doing the drag racing thing. And Erica was, I think, qualified 4th last night, which is a real change for her, and that's good.
Yeah.
We're pulling for her.
Team's coming back.
You know, they didn't have pro stock cars for a month on the tour.
Yeah.
Well,
Bikes
weird.
either. They didn't have bikes
They had bikes once. Yeah.
but out of the four.
I don't know.
I
what's going
don't
on.
understand what they're doing there.
Not much.
Well, that's why I don't understand why they're doing it that way. Anyway,
Well, theoretically, they could do whatever they want.
Theoretically, they could.
theoretically, yeah.
All right, Mr. Mars, it's your turn for This Week in Auto History.
We found a few things this week that I thought was really interesting, and the first one is kind of might seem a little odd to begin with, but it was President John F. Kennedy's moonshot speech. Now, he made this very famous speech about NASA, and what it did was cause them to look for lightweight materials, advanced electronics, computers, all kinds of things that eventually worked their way into the automotive industry. And particularly, they started picking up on these aerospace-derived innovations for safety systems, fuel efficiency, and emissions controls because the government was figuring out how to do it. So they just copied it and cheated and worked out really well.
Cheated, yeah.
Yeah. So then the second thing we found was in 1923, May the 6th, France hosted the first 24 hours of Le Mans. Now, this was
Le Mans.
this was the started the whole endurance racing thing, and the idea at the time was for reliability, fuel efficiency, and teamwork over pure speed. Of course, we know how that well worked out, but it did give them a chance to test things like disc brakes, aerodynamic bodywork, and a lot of other things that shaped automotive advancements. Then in 1934, this week, Citroën, yeah, they introduced the Traction Avant, and it was the first mass-produced front-wheel drive car with a unibody frame. Now, this was important because it did end up influencing generations of cars, particularly if you think about the Chrysler unibody cars that they came out with. And so this is where it all started back in 1934.
Good-looking car.
Now, this one, Jeff, is for you.
All right.
I found this just for you. In 2005, Danica Patrick makes Indy 500 by leading 19 laps of the race. Now, she did finish fourth, which was a first for a woman, but it did help female racers across the industry. And if you look at certain things, particularly in drag racing, there are a lot of female racers. They're not necessarily like up there with Erica, but in the categories right down below that, the alcohol dragsters and things like that, there are a lot of ladies coming up. And she helped out some of that, Jeffrey.
You're not getting a Christmas card this year.
The other thing we found, the first Indianapolis 500 took place in 1911.
Look, there's Don Armstrong.
And the guy that won, Marmon Wasp. Now, he had...
No, that wasn't his name. That was the car, the Marmon Wasp.
No, you're right. I can't read my writing now.
Oh, my God.
That was Larry the driver.
I was reading ahead about the rearview mirror because he had the rearview mirrors, which eliminated a riding mechanic he came along.
He just trying to tell him Martha fell out. That was his...
Martha!
She fell out of the car.
1927. After 19 years and 15 million cars, Ford ceased making the Model T. Now, this was important because that allowed them to transition into the Model A and start actually making some major changes in their cars that they looked at, but the Model T was so successful, they never made the change, which is the reason they did it for 19 years. Just a few things from this week in automotive history.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir. Customer's lawsuit accuses a Chicago dealership of systematically misrepresenting financial and employment information on credit applications it submits to Santander Consumer USA, knowing customers otherwise wouldn't have qualified for financing. The suit against Western Avenue Nissan does not accuse Santander of misconduct. Rather, the dealership took advantage of Santander's legitimate business operations to engage in a pattern of racketeering activity, the complaint said. It seeks class action status and triple damages for mail and wire fraud under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. According to the federal court complaint, the lead plaintiff, Tanisha Burris, found a used vehicle within her budget on the store's website. She was unemployed at the time and intended to pay cash. When she went to the store, however, she was told the vehicle was not operational and thus she could not test drive it. Instead, a salesperson steered her toward a more expensive 2019 Nissan Sentra. Then she couldn't afford that either. The complaint said Burris was overwhelmed by pressure sales tactics and agreed to buy the Sentra only after being told she would qualify for financing despite having no job. Salesman was persistent, told Burris she could get a loan and pay for it by driving Uber or Lyft. She relented and signed a 3-year retail installment sales contract for $14,000 at 24.9% interest. Burris wasn't told how driving a ride-hailing service would increase her insurance premiums, which it would. It also said she was told she could return the car in 3 months if things didn't work out. That proved untrue as well. What a mess. We'll be back right after this quick break. Stay with us.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey Radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us.
Well, that's all for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Be sure and check us out online at InWheelTime.com. We're always looking for new, informative, and fun automotive things. If you have an idea or event or a road trip destination, let us know. Our email address is info@InWheelTime.com. When you're looking for award-winning car talk, you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the In Wheel Time app. When you're on the road, grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider, the new SiriusXM podcast channel, and be sure to catch us on the Odyssey Radio app. We video stream our live show every Saturday, 10 to noon on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The In-Wheel Time video technical director is We Need More Jeff Zekin. The booking agent, video editor, and people finder, do it all, Mr. Mike Out of This World Mars, and chief engineer, David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Stay safe out there. Have a great week, and thanks again for following the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. See you next week.